The second to last episode of Hello Neighbor Welcome to Ravenbrooks premiered just this morning, so today I'm going to be doing a full recap, breakdown, and review of this episode. You seemed to like the video I did on episode 4 last week, so I'm doing it again this week, and I'm going to be doing it again next week when we get our season 1 finale. This episode was incredible, one of the longer episodes, and in my opinion the best episode that we've had yet. As well as having just a ton of action, this episode also contained 2 epic teasers at the very end, so make sure to stick around. Last episode, Nikki made an attempt to break into Mr. Peterson's house only to be captured and locked in the basement. Well, this episode begins right where that one left off, with Mr. Peterson now doing some work on his house. Now across the street, Trinity is going to be calling the police because she's just witnessed her friend be kidnapped. Enzo's back as well. She seemed to have called him back right after last episode. The person on the other end of the phone is suspicious to send police over because they're always getting crank calls about Mr. Peterson. However, eventually they do, and Officer Leslie, our favorite police officer from Hello Neighbor, shows up ready to investigate the house. As soon as he hears the sirens, Mr. Peterson runs inside. Officer Leslie enters the house, but he comes out pretty quickly carrying the bag of golden apple coins that Mr. Peterson dug up in episode 3. It seems like that's all the investigating that he's going to be doing today. Most of the authority figures in Hello Neighbor are very suspicious. Essentially everyone in this town is part of a larger conspiracy, and I would definitely say that Leslie doesn't care whether Nikki's missing, but for whatever reason he wants the golden apple coin. Mr. Peterson comes out of his house with Nikki's walkie-talkie and threatens them through it, basically telling them to leave him alone. Now this is a pretty interesting cut right here because it looks pretty normal, but it actually skips forward weeks in time. Mr. Peterson's house has grown massive now. In fact, it is exactly the house from Act 3 of the first game. Good job to the animators, by the way. They nailed every single detail. Now what's interesting about this is that Act 3 house originally took place in Nikki's dream. However, according to the canon of this show, Mr. Peterson has built that house in real life. Now Hello Neighbor 1 has been non-canon in the new lore for months now, so it kind of makes sense that he could have built this in real life. However, I am still questioning the house's continuity because in Hello Neighbor 2, which is canon in the new lore and takes place right after season 1 of this show, the house looks normal size again. So not really sure what's going on there. I doubt we'll get an explanation for that. Anyway, it has been weeks and Trinity still wants to break in and rescue Nikki. Mr. Peterson shows up for a visit with her parents. If you missed it, this is the clip that we got from the neighbor voice reveal a couple of months ago, so we already saw most of this. The Bales family invite Mr. Peterson in. Meanwhile, Enzo is going to try to sneak into Peterson's house and rescue Nikki. If you saw my last video, you'll know I predicted this. I think he's definitely going to have some sort of character arc of overcoming his fear in the next 2 episodes. This is the beginning of his bravery storyline, his character arc. Enzo is going to try to face his fears of the Peterson house in this episode, and he begins by opening the very weird door. This door has opened a different way in every episode. First it opened left, then it opened right, now it opens inwards. I have no idea what's going on with this door. I guess technically Mr. Peterson could have taken it off its hinges and put it on a different way every time. It's very strange. In the corner of this shot, we get a little appearance from one of the garden gnomes from Hello Neighbor 2. This garden gnome clearly has one of the hidden camera glass eyes just like in the game, but in the game Quentin uses these things to spy on the town. Now technically in this episode Quentin isn't in Ravenbrooks yet. He arrives around the time they rescue Nikki, which is probably going to be in the next episode, so we can assume he's not going to be in the town for another day or 2. I'm sure they won't actually do any story about that, but I find it really funny that Mr. Peterson just has one of Quentin's hidden cameras in his house. Enzo moves further into the house and begins his investigation to try and find Nikki. Meanwhile, the Bales family and Mr. Peterson are going to take a photo together because Petey's told them that he has a memory problem, and that's the reason why he has photos of them all over his house. Honestly, I thought this show was going to be about the whole town being the bad guy, not him, but this episode really set up for him to be the villain. Enzo is still investigating, and we actually get a look at 2 of the traps that Mr. Peterson has set up inside his house. This swinging axe and this flying pickaxe are definitely not in the game, but it's pretty funny that Enzo, one of the most nervous characters in the whole show, has no idea that there's murder weapons flying at his head. He's trying to talk to Nikki through the basement door, but it sounds like Nikki's going a bit crazy down there. We got a teaser image of Nikki trapped in the basement, and he definitely doesn't look well. Enzo begins to explore the rest of the house and continues to accidentally dodge traps. He comes across the red key to the basement, but over at Trinity's house, the neighbor has heard Enzo's voice through the walkie-talkie and rushes back to his house. This is the 3rd neighbor chase scene that we've had in this series. Enzo runs through the 4th and 5th trap, which are some bells and a chainsaw, and just manages to get past the property line before Petey can catch him. This is with no doubt the most scared I've felt for a character in this whole series. This whole episode did a great job of building tension, and when that final chase scene happened, it was actually terrifying. Anyway, Enzo has made it back to the house with the red basement key.
Call Maritza and Ivan. We're going to get Nikki back tonight.
Tonight? All of us?
Don't worry. You'll see your friends again soon.
That's the end of the episode, but the credits are a bit different this time. They play through like normal, but right at the end, they quickly rewind and we get two brand new video teasers. The first one is for the Hello Neighbor 2 Halloween update that's going to be coming sometime in the next 2 weeks. This 30-second teaser actually reveals a lot, and I'm going to be doing a video tomorrow covering it, so you definitely want to be subscribed. The second teaser is for the 6th and final episode of Welcome to Ravenbrook Season 1. The gang, including Maritza and Ivan, are inside Mr. Peterson's house, and they've come across the basement door, which now has 3 locks on it, just like in Secret Neighbor. The camera quickly pans to the neighbor who is standing right behind them, and the video ends. Now that teaser doesn't reveal much, but what does reveal a lot is the title of the next episode. Search and Rescue is also the name of the Hello Neighbor VR game, which actually covers some of the storyline from Secret Neighbor. So it seems like this next episode, episode 6, is going to be combining Hello Neighbor 1 Act 2, Secret Neighbor, and Search and Rescue. The description reads, Inventors Club Assemble, and based on the thumbnail, which shows Mr. Peterson actually fighting the police, we can tell that this episode is going to be crazy. It also seems that I was wrong about Finch and Delroy joining the gang in this episode. I thought that they would show up sometime before the end of season 1 because they are the last 2 characters in Secret Neighbor, but based on the teasers that we've had for episode 6, it doesn't seem like they're going to be in it. Anyway, this episode was, in my opinion, the best episode we've had so far. It's building up for an epic season 1 finale that I'll be covering next week. This following week is a big week for Hello Neighbor, so expect lots of videos. And if you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'm DJ Magones. I'll see you all next time.